This man, just a few days ago, buried a young man whom he had killed with his own hands. After doing such a dark deed, he calmly returned to his normal life, acting as if nothing had ever happened. But in this world, the past always finds a way to come back. A few days later, the dead man's older sister begins her search. She's desperate to find her brother's killer and make him pay with blood. Now, we discover that this woman, the sister, is not just any ordinary person. She's a ruthless gangster, a woman feared throughout the city.
What did he tell you?
Someone who's caused chaos, taken lives, and left destruction wherever she went. When the man who killed her brother hears about this, he's shaken to his core. He realizes the gravity of what he's done, and that his life is now in grave danger. To save himself and escape her wrath forever, he decides to take drastic action. Welcome back to Movie Unlimited. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The movie opens with a man named Murphy, a weary soul in his 40s. Murphy once had a family, a loving wife and children, but they were tragically taken from him years ago. From that day onward, Murphy became a different man, a merciless killer. The film shockingly reveals that Murphy kills people almost every day. He doesn't do it out of rage or madness, it's his job. People pay him large sums of money to eliminate others, and he carries out every task with brutal precision. His targets are often the wealthy and powerful, men who believe money can buy them safety. But not from Murphy. Despite his growing list of victims, the police have never been able to catch him. Why? Because Murphy is a professional. He's cold, careful, and cautious. He hides his identity, covers his tracks, and never leaves a single trace behind. One day, Murphy receives a new assignment, to kill Johnny, a well-known singer who's famous throughout the city. Without wasting a moment, Murphy gets to work. He tracks Johnny down, sneaks into his house, and kidnaps him before anyone can notice. Murphy drives Johnny deep into the woods, far from the city lights, where no one can hear his screams. He forces Johnny to dig a deep hole in the ground, his own grave. The singer digs for hours, his hands bleeding, his face pale with fear. Then, Murphy calmly asks him, "Tell me, how do you think you're going to die today?" Johnny, trembling, knows exactly why this is happening. In the past, he had hurt many people, tortured them, and taken lives without mercy. With tears in his eyes, he tells Murphy that maybe this is his punishment, that God is finally making him pay for his sins. Murphy listens silently and then explains that he was simply following an order. Someone wanted Johnny dead, and Murphy never asks questions. Without another word, he pulls out his gun and shoots him on the spot. The lifeless body collapses into the dirt. Murphy buries him right there, in the same hole Johnny dug with his own hands. Later, we see that Murphy isn't alone in his dark world. He has a close friend, Kevin, who works in the same deadly profession. The two men spend most of their time together, sharing drinks, stories, and jobs. Both of them work under the same boss, Robert, a feared gangster who controls much of the city's underground world. People whisper Robert's name in fear. He's the kind of man no one dares to cross. After finishing his latest job, Murphy heads back home late at night. The streets are quiet, the air heavy. From a distance, he spots a young woman sitting alone. Her name is Grace, and she happens to be his neighbor. Murphy approaches her gently, greeting her and trying to make conversation. But Grace is crying. Her eyes are red, her face full of sadness. Before Murphy can even ask what's wrong, she suddenly gets up and runs away, leaving him standing there, confused and worried. From that day onward, Murphy becomes curious about Grace. Something about her pain reminds him of his lost daughter. So he starts watching over her from a distance, wanting to make sure she's safe. He soon learns the truth. Grace lives only with her mother. The two of them struggle alone, without anyone to protect them. Murphy also discovers that Grace has an uncle named Curtis, a cruel man who abuses her. Curtis calls Grace to his house and forces her to do work far beyond her strength. He beats her, leaving her bruised and broken. Her skin becomes red and raw, covered in marks from the beatings. When Murphy sees her like that, his heart breaks. He tries asking her what happened, but Grace refuses to answer. She just keeps crying silently, hiding her pain. Murphy, who has already lost his own children, starts to see Grace as the daughter he never got to protect. Determined to stop her suffering, Murphy decides to follow Curtis. That night, he and his friend Kevin track Curtis down. They watch him from a distance, hidden in the shadows. Suddenly, without warning, Kevin pulls out his gun and shoots Curtis dead. Murphy is shocked. He yells at Kevin, furious that he acted without permission. Kevin simply laughs and says he couldn't control himself, that killing gives him pleasure. He admits this truth with a chilling smile. With no other choice, Murphy helps Kevin bury Curtis's body in the dark, silent woods. Once the job is done, they return home as if nothing happened, just another night in their violent world. Weeks pass. Curtis's disappearance starts to worry his sister, Doris. She searches the city, asking everyone she can find, but no one has seen him. As days turn into weeks, her fear grows. Deep down, she begins to sense that something terrible has happened. Meanwhile, Murphy continues his routine. One morning, he goes to meet his boss, Robert, in his office. With guilt weighing on his mind, Murphy decides to confess. He tells Robert that he saw a girl being hurt, that he couldn't stand to see it anymore, and that he killed her uncle, Curtis, to protect her. Robert's face darkens with anger. He stands up and shouts at Murphy, demanding to know how he could kill someone without an order. In Robert's world, no one dies without his permission. Murphy tries to explain himself, but Robert cuts him off. Robert warns him never to act on his own again. "You follow my orders," he says coldly. "No one else dies unless I say so." Then he dismisses Murphy, leaving him alone with regret and fear. From this moment on, Murphy knows his actions will not go unpunished. He's angered his boss, exposed his heart, and unknowingly sparked a chain of events that will drag him deep into chaos. Doris is still searching for her brother, and when she finds out what really happened, Murphy's life will never be the same again. Shockingly, the movie now shows us that Dorian, who is Curtis's older sister, suddenly appears at Robert's office. She's there because she knows Robert is a dangerous gangster, someone who might know what happened to her brother. Dorian storms into the room with fire in her eyes, points a gun straight at Robert, and demands to know the truth. "Tell me," she shouts, "who killed my brother?" Robert, trying to stay calm, raises his hands and insists he has no idea what she's talking about. But Dorian doesn't believe a single word. Her finger trembles on the trigger, her face full of anger and grief. Realizing that she isn't bluffing, Robert panics. In a moment of fear, he blurts out the truth. He tells Dorian that the man who killed her brother is Murphy. He adds quickly that he doesn't know why Murphy did it and that it wasn't an order from him. Robert even shouts in frustration, saying he never asked Murphy to kill Curtis, that it was a reckless act he can't explain. But the damage is done. Dorian's rage explodes. Furious and heartbroken, she pulls the trigger and shoots Robert right there in his office, killing him instantly. Without wasting a second, she storms out of the building. Now her only mission is to find Murphy and make him pay. Meanwhile, Murphy is driving home, unaware that Dorian is already hunting him down. As he approaches his house, he suddenly notices several unfamiliar cars parked outside. His instincts kick in, something's not right. He quickly calls his partner, Kevin, and tells him to come immediately. Together, they start watching from a distance, trying to figure out who's inside. Through the window, Murphy spots Dorian and her gang tearing through his house. They're armed and dangerous, smashing furniture, burning his belongings, and setting fire to his money and possessions. Murphy clenches his fists in fury. Everything he owns, everything he's built, is being destroyed before his eyes. From a distance, he swears to himself that he'll hunt down every single one of them, that none of them will walk away alive. Dorian waits inside the house all night, hoping Murphy will return. But when he doesn't show up, she grows restless. Fueled by anger, she smashes his windows, breaks his furniture, and shouts in frustration before finally leaving. The next morning, Murphy stands before the ruins of his home, his face cold and determined. He's had enough. Now it's personal. He begins tracking Dorian's every move, determined to end this once and for all. Soon, he discovers the truth. Dorian is Curtis's older sister, and she's here for revenge. That night, Murphy decides to take the fight to her. He heads straight to her hideout, intending to kill her before she can kill him. But Dorian is not an easy target. She's sharp, fearless, and always one step ahead. The moment Murphy enters her place, she's already waiting with a gun aimed directly at him. She glares at him and demands, "How dare you come here? Why did you kill my brother?" Murphy, realizing his life is hanging by a thread, raises his hands and tries to explain. He tells her that he didn't kill her brother, that it was someone else. He insists he can bring her the men responsible if she gives him time. Dorian narrows her eyes, skeptical but curious. "Fine," she says coldly. "Bring him to the bar nearby. If you don't, I'll blow the place to pieces, and everyone inside it will die." Murphy stares at her in shock. She continues, telling him that she has bombs hidden beneath the bar, powerful enough to destroy the entire area. "If you fail me," she warns, "I'll blow up the whole city if I have to." Murphy can see she isn't bluffing. Her voice is steady, her eyes full of deadly intent. He nods slowly, promising to meet her demands. Later that night, Murphy and Kevin head to the bar together. The air is tense, heavy with fear and anticipation. The clock ticks down as they wait, surrounded by unsuspecting customers. A few minutes later, Dorian arrives with her gang. They walk in silently, carrying weapons, and one of them is holding a peculiar-looking bag. Inside that bag, as the movie reveals, is a bomb, ready to explode at any moment. Dorian looks around, her eyes locking on Kevin. The instant she sees him, her face twists with fury. She believes Kevin is the one who killed her brother. Without hesitation, she pulls out her gun and fires. A loud gunshot echoes through the bar. Chaos erupts instantly. People scream and rush toward the exits, knocking over chairs and tables in a desperate attempt to escape. Murphy dives behind a counter, his heart pounding. Seeing Kevin fall, he pulls out his gun and fires back at Dorian. A violent shootout breaks out between them, bullets flying in every direction. Glass shatters, bottles explode, and terrified people who couldn't escape in time get caught in the crossfire. Kevin, bleeding heavily, collapses to the floor. Murphy rushes to him, holding him close. Kevin looks at his friend with weak eyes and manages to whisper, "It's been great working with you, thank you for everything." With that, his eyes close forever. Murphy's grief turns to rage. Dorian has taken everything from him, his friend, his home, his peace. Now, there's nothing left to lose. As the smoke clears, Murphy searches the bar, determined to finish it, but Dorian has already escaped. Always one step ahead, she's fled the scene, speeding away in a car before the police can arrive. Murphy approaches slowly, his face grim. He fires one last shot, ending it once and for all. He then takes Dorian's lifeless body to the same secret burial place where he's buried others before, the same cold ground where his sins now lie beneath the earth. He digs a grave and buries her there, closing the chapter of blood and revenge. From that day on, Murphy decides that he's done with this life. He's lost too much, his family, his friends, and now his boss. The endless cycle of death and violence has taken everything from him. Looking at his neighbor Grace, the one person who brought a bit of light into his dark world, he finally finds peace. He decides to leave everything behind, the guns, the money, the city, and start a new life. Murphy sells all his belongings and wealth, gathers what little he has left, and leaves the city with Grace. The movie ends with them living quietly together, far from the chaos and pain that once consumed their lives. For the first time in years, Murphy smiles, not as a killer, but as a man who finally found a reason to live again. Dear viewers, this was the story of In the Land of Saints and Sinners, 2023, a tale of guilt, vengeance, and redemption. Let us know your thoughts about this powerful movie down in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and join our family. Until next time, when we return with another exciting movie recap, stay safe and stay tuned.